minutes or so about my meal planning and how it's sort of saved me a lot of time and energy. And I want to just kind of like explain why I meal plan, how you can do it too. I feel like there's a little bit of a backlash sometimes around systems. And right now with AI, people want to do things like friction maxing, and I get it. But for me, the systematic treatment of meal planning allows me to spend a lot less time at the grocery store. So instead of like perusing for an hour and checking out sales and what do I want to buy, I have a plan in advance. I go into the grocery store, I buy what I need from the plan, and I get out because the longer I'm in the grocery store, the more likely I am to be tempted by those end caps, things I don't need. I'm overbuying, over purchasing, and I don't want to do that. The second thing is I do this systematically at the end of the week when my fridge is empty so that I have a very good picture of what I have and what I need to buy. There's always things I need to buy, diapers, milk, etc. But, having a good idea of what I need to buy and what I have that needs to get used up saves me a lot of like basically money, right? Because I already have a bunch of materials and I want to make sure that I'm not wasting food. So, I'll see if I can actually see if I can turn this around. So you can see, in my fridge, it's pretty empty right now. I've got my condiments. I've got a few leftovers in the top that need to be finished. And I've got some, breads and tortillas and cheeses. But I don't really have a lot in my fridge. This would probably cause some people to have a little bit of a panic attack, to just not have enough food. But, the way I look at it, 4 minutes from a grocery store, right? I'm never really running out. My grocery store's open until midnight. So for me, where I live, the life I live, I'm never at real risk of running out of food. Now, if there's an apocalyptic event, we're all screwed anyway. So does it really matter whether or not I leave an inch of milk in the carton before running out? So I have, my fridge, and what I do every week, and I don't usually do it this detailed. Today is a little bit of an extreme example for this video. Typically, I kind of just do it quickly on my phone. I look through what I have in my pantry. I look through what I have in my fridge. By the way, I don't have a big pantry either. I'm sure that, again, this is like, I have one little shelf of pasta and goods and some peanut butter and some nuts. And then I have one overflow pantry in my other room that has extra bags of pasta because I buy my pasta at Costco, extra bags of like chips and snacks for my kids, and I don't want them into them all the time, so I do hide a lot of them. But I do have some accessible where they can reach them. I actually keep all of my like kid approved snacks in a place that's not in my pantry because I want them to just be able to self serve, which I know maybe pluses and minuses there. So I go through my pantry, I make a list. You can see here, this is the list of everything that I have. And then I do a couple stars next to the things that need to get used up. So this is all the stuff that, won't last another day or so. So I make this list. And then from there, I make a list of what I'm going to make. And this could be things like lunches and dinners. And I'm trying to do my best to use up items from the I have list in the I'll make list. And then from there, I create an I need list. So this is kind of how I quickly, in 10 or 15 minutes, check what I have left in the fridge, which is almost nothing, clean the fridge out. So like I wipe out the vegetable drawers, wipe the shelves off. I'm not doing a deep clean, but I'm, constantly keeping the fridge clean. I'm also doing a little bit of a shine. So I'm checking to make sure that things aren't freezing in the back of the fridge. Like I'll rotate my condiments. I'll make sure that there's no condiments that are sticky or oozing. And I will also make sure that nothing is getting frozen because that is a risk that your temperature is sort of not calibrated properly. And I know there's a lot of reasons for that, right? So do I need to pull my fridge out and clean off the condenser? So there's a lot of things that I'm checking systematically as I go, and I'm not thinking about it. I'm just like, every Friday, this is what I do. I check the fridge for what's in it. I clean the fridge out. I wipe everything down. I'm inspecting what's inside my fridge to make sure that there's nothing that needs to be thrown away. I'm not doing a massive condiment declutter once a year, right? It's a constant ongoing process. And then I am very quickly going through and figuring out, okay, this is what I have, this is what I'll make. And I very quickly make a meal plan of what I'm going to be making during the week. And then from there, very quickly make a grocery list. So all of this, I'm not joking, takes me 15 minutes every Friday. And then it does a few things for me. So like I said before, I'm saving time at the grocery store. I'm saving money because I'm using things I already have, and I'm not wasting food because everything that I buy has a plan. So I'm not getting to the end of the week and pulling something out of the drawer like, oh, these green beans went bad. Let me throw them away. Okay, that does happen, but it's rare. I'm pretty regimented about what I have and what I make. And then it also helps reduce decision fatigue during the week. And I think this is a big thing for a lot of people, right? So Friday night, yes, I'm tired. Yes, my brain isn't functioning fully properly, but I have this as part of my plan and I just do it. And every then during the week, I don't think about what's for dinner. I don't pull open my fridge like, oh, what should I make tonight? And yes, you might love that. You can leave room in your plan for flexibility in those nights. But there are nights where you are tired, where your brain does not want to think, and you end up door dashing yourself Chinese food because you don't want to think about what to make for dinner, not because you don't want to make dinner. And I think that's a big misconception for people. They think like, oh, I'm too tired. I don't want to make dinner. And I hear you, feel you. I'm there as well. But the actual making of the dinner isn't hard. It's the thinking about what to make. So I always have a few things that are super fast and easy to make. Usually it's stuff that I've pre-frozen in my freezer. So one of my meals this week is turkey stroganoff, and I already have the sauce frozen. All I have to do is make egg noodles and thaw the sauce. And that is one night of cooking done in probably 12 minutes. And I'll save that for a night where I'm just beyond gutted. One of the projects I have to do this week is to take all the insulation out of my rafters because we're having our roof redone. So that day, when I'm upstairs in the attic, pulling insulation out of the rafters, I am going to be beyond. And so that night, we are having turkey stroganoff for dinner, right? So it's kind of like you build into your plan meals that are fast, meals that are easy, meals that anyone in your house, your husband, your spouse, your partner, your babysitter, your nanny, anybody could make because they don't have to think about what is for dinner. They know based on the plan. And I'm not saying I plan out like each day what we're going to have. It's that I have a list of meals that anyone could look at and just make. And I cross them out as I make them throughout the week. So there's no confusion. It's very simple. I've had like here on my fridge, I've got a little, let's see, I've got the actual like, this is what is for dinner each night. And then this is what's for lunch different days. And I do a lot of leftovers for lunch too, but half the time we eat leftovers. So every day there's a plan, cross things out as I go. And then I don't have to have the decision of what to make. And anyone else who is or wants to help with dinner, they don't have to ask you. And that is a big part of the cognitive labor that the sort of household manager, I'm going to call them, the household manager has to carry, right? How do I do this? What do you need? Like those questions grate on you and you feel like I'm just going to do it myself because if I have to explain it to you, why don't I just do it? And I hear this in people all the time and I say it myself. So if you want to avoid that, it's by having a system in place that anyone can follow, right? And the backlash against systems is a little bit real. Like I understand people don't want to systemize everything. You don't want to optimize everything. This isn't optimizing. This is really taking the guesswork out of the process so that anyone can follow it and contribute. This is how you build a team, right? The reason why teams work so well for sports is because everyone knows the rules. Everyone knows the position they're playing. Everyone understands their roles and responsibilities. You don't have to ask questions in the moment. So if you want that to be for your family, if you want your family to function like a team, the best way that you can do that is by setting up systems that anyone can follow. So like I said, I just wanted to very quickly this morning go through what I have as my meal plan each week, how I do it, what I think about, and what the outcome is, because I think this is really important for people. The outcome is going to be less time spent grocery shopping. less time spent or money spent on groceries that you don't use or don't need, less cognitive labor during the week, thinking about what is for dinner or explaining to someone else what they can make for dinner. So these three benefits are really what is going to help you reduce like any sort of mental burden and time during your week, right? So like I said, I am a big fan of meal planning. I think you can do it too. And if you have any questions, send me a message. Always happy to chat with people about what is successful for them, what's not successful, how things are working. And like I said, I'm Kate from Sorted State. You can follow me on Substack. I am also launching a boot camp in a few weeks. So I look forward to talking to all of you at the next Go Live. Thanks so much.